And today, we're using the brand new Ultra Kid Buu that has just come out in Dragon Ball Legends. Two things you need to focus on with this Kid Buu. Arguably the two best things he does is that his green card is a pushback green card that gives you cover nullification, changes your blast arts to strike cards, and when your unique gauge is full, he always pulls a blue card when you use this green card, which is an amazing thing to do. And his blue card restores your whole vanishing gauge twice, which you'll see later comes in clutch for me. When your unique gauge is full, it also locks in your opponent. The team I'm going to be using today is what I am guessing will be one of the best teams in the game, as Ultra Rose and Kid Buu are perfect partners together. As for the equips I'm using on him, I'll be using this Majin Buu Saga Platinum equip, I'll be using this Awakened Yellow and Regeneration equip, which gives even more strike attack, and then finally I'll be using this regular Gold equip that gives pure strike attack, but even though I won't be getting the full nearly 15%, I'll be getting at least 10, which is good enough. For our first match, we go up against a team that is fully supporting this Kid Buu. I like his intro animation overall. I really do like this last frame here, which is quite good. One of the main reasons I say this team will be the best in the game is because the pairing of Ultra Rose and Buu work amazingly together. Ultra Buu takes care of Ultra Rose's weakness to purple units before he uses main ability, but as you'll see now, after he uses main ability, Ultra Rose ignores typings and is type neutral against everyone. We then switch into Zamasu and use our main ability. We then dodge my opponent's blast attack, dash backwards, switch into Kid Buu, and then use his green card, which again gives cover nullification, changes our blast arts to strike cards, and is a pushback green card. My opponent switches into the Ultra Kid Buu for some reason, knowing that I have my main ability left, which I use, and then we use our ultimate. Which ends up giving us this nice forfeit screen. In our second match, we go up against a future team. This time round, we tackle my opponent Zamasu, dodge his tap attacks, which they overextend. We then use a blast darts, and then another as my opponent switches into the LF Rose. We then switch into Buu with our full gauge. We use the strike arts, our main ability, and then our ultimate, as they switch into the Ultra Rose. We then strike cancel, catch out my opponent's Rose with a blast dart, which was quite lucky. My opponent then switches into the Zamasu. We then continue our combo with Kid Buu. Remember, at this time, when Ultra Buu's gauge is full, he gets another level of card draw speed on top of his one base level of card draw speed, meaning we have 2x card draw speed now. My opponent then tap attacks me to empty my gauge. We then use our broken green card, which pushes him back. We then get into a nice combo with Buu. I then intentionally dropped my combo, assuming they would switch into the LF Rose, which they didn't, so we took out the Rose, the Ultra Rose. We then dodge a tackle from LF Rose, switch into Blue Zamasu, dodge the strike again, use our main ability, catch him out with our green card, use the strike arts, and then switch into Ultra Rose, who I believe is the best unit in the game. We use our main ability, 2 strike arts, and then our ultimate arts. Which takes out my opponent's LF Rose. We then go up against a future team, I guess, with Ultra Buu in the leader slot. We get Buu to dodge. We then get my opponent's future Gohan to dodge. We then dodge the android's attack, and then get into a nice combo with our Blue Zamasu. We then take out my opponent's tag androids with a blue card. We then again strike cancel and use our broken green card with Ultra Buu. We then strike cancel, dodge my opponent's Future Gohan's strike attack, and then get into a nice combo. We then use our main ability and then our ultimate, as my opponent switches into their own Ultra Kid Buu. We then use our green card with Ultra Rose, tackle my opponent's Future Gohan, which they dodge. We then get into a tap attack clash and then use our blue card to take him out. Finally, we catch out Ultra Kid Buu with a mid-range strike attack, and then my opponent forfeits. We then face a God Key team with the Tag Androids as their leader. Somehow, after 30 counts, I find myself in a 1v3 with Ultra Kid Buu. Now, when Ultra Kid Buu is the last man standing, he fills his gauge fully, and he also gets the Tag Android's ability of having permanent endurance nullification. After catching out the Tag Androids with our green card and using a few arts cards, we use our ultimate, and for some reason my opponent switches into their blue Zamasu, who takes a good bit of damage. We then use a blast art to get him to dodge, and then immediately use our blue card, which, thanks to his last man standing ability, takes out Zamasu. We then use the very broken green card to push back my opponent's Whis, and then use 2 strike arts to take him out. We then get my opponent's Tag Android to dodge, and then of course I use my Rising Rush. And thankfully, Buu clutches the 1v3. We then go up against a sort of regeneration future hybrid team. We start off with my opponent getting the LF Rose strike cover change. We then of course dodge his blast darts and use his very broken green card, which, remember, when our gauge is full, pulls a blue card for us. My opponent switches into the LF Kid Buu, who gets taken out by said blue card, which restored our vanishing gauge fully. We then dodge the blast darts from Ultra Rose and catch him out with our Rising Rush to take him out. We then use our main ability with Ultra Buu. I then use a mid-range blue card, which may seem silly, but remember, twice it restores our vanishing gauge, so even if my opponent dodged that, we could have dodged thanks to our full gauge. We get him to dodge our blast darts and then use our ultimate darts. Which of course wins us the game. Finally, we go up against a LOE team, without any Zenkai buffs, surprisingly. We start off dodging an attack from my opponent's rival Frieza. We use the very broken green card with Kid Buu, and get into a nice combo, as my opponent switches into their golden Frieza, who is taken out in roughly 2 strike arts. One of the main reasons I say this team will probably end up being the best team in the game is because of the fact that the type coverage on this team is amazing. Ultra Kid Buu is there to tank the purple units that will attack Ultra Rose, and Blue Zamasu is there to tank the red units that would attack Ultra Buu. We then dodge a blue card from my opponent's rival Frieza, catch him out with Ultra Rose, who takes him out in the strike arts and the blast darts. We then use our main ability, and then our green card, and then finish up the match with our ultimate. After using Ultra Kid Buu now and a few extra games that you did not see, I believe Ultra Kid Buu is around the second or third best unit in the game. I think Ultra Rose is such a menace in the game currently, and with his new best friend Ultra Kid Buu, he'll become even more of a difficult unit to face against. So I'd put Ultra Rose at the number 1 position and then Ultra Buu at the number 2 position. Ultra Kid Buu's green card is his best ability. His blue card, restoring Vanishing Gauge fully twice, is such an amazing thing for him to have. His unique gauge, while it doesn't do much on its own, other than give you an extra level of card draw speed and some damage, allowing you to pull a blue card from your green card and lock in your opponents when you have your full gauge from your blue card is a great benefit to have from his unique gauge.